This is Newcap News with Lauren Poland.
Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. The disturbing case of an infant found dead in the Lloydminster landfill last November is at a standstill. 26-year-old Danielle Jackson is charged with concealing the body of a child, but is yet to enter a plea, despite multiple court appearances over the past 4 months. Jackson was in court again this morning, with her plea hearing again pushed back to October 22nd. This was the scene last November. Roughly 30 members from across Alberta combing through the landfill, finding the remains of the newborn after a 5-day search. It wasn't until 5 months after that that charges were laid against Jackson. A 22-year-old Saddle Lake man is facing second-degree murder charges in relation to a death on the Pigeon Lake Reserve at the end of August. 17-year-old Perry Johnson was transported to hospital, where he died from his injuries. Chris Norbert is charged in connection with the teen's death and will remain in custody until his first court appearance in Wetaskiwin tomorrow. Meantime, the RCMP is asking for the public's help in finding the suspects from an armed robbery in North Battleford. Police are looking for a woman and 2 or 3 men who allegedly robbed passers-by at knife point behind a business on the 1700 block of 100th Street just after 9 p.m. Friday night. The group were driving a GMC truck, and the suspect with the weapon is described as a man in his early 20s, roughly 5'11", wearing a white t-shirt. No one was injured in the alleged attack, but anyone with information is asked to call the Battleford RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Well, time is ticking down to throw your name in the ring for the upcoming municipal election. But some news on who won't be running again surfaced in today's council meeting, along with an update on our greatly anticipated Hockey Day in Canada. Elise Cox reports.
In today's council meeting, longtime councillor Herb Flieger and councillor Alan Park both announced that they will not be running again for council. So our council will have at least 3 new faces after the municipal election. But as councillor Herb Flieger announces his decision not to run again, he was appointed today as the freshest face on the Lloydminster and District Health Advisory Council, along with Gerard Schwartz, who was appointed on the Bar Colony Heritage Cultural Center's board. And as students start off their school year, Lakeland College had their request to renew the student access agreement with the city approved. So full-time students will continue to pay $43 included in their tuition to use the Service Sports Centre and Leisure Centre. And on the Hockey Day in Canada front, the potential NHL lockout will affect the type of programming that we have for Hockey Day in Canada. But on what level, it's still up in the air. We'll have the full story on some of these council updates tomorrow on Newcap News. Reporting outside council chambers, I'm Elise Cox.
Well, St. Paul and area residents will be waiting a little longer before they'll be able to access the new wellness center. As Clayton Brown explains, the center was originally planned to be open to the public in September, but recent setbacks have delayed that date.
Weather, accompanied by a couple other projects taking longer than anticipated, have slowed the completion of the new wellness center. It was planned to have already opened, but now patients will have to wait a little longer.
The doctors are redoing their clerical system on computers, so that'll take about another 5 weeks. So if everything works well, within the next 5 to 6 weeks, the doctors will be starting to move in.
When the center opens, multiple doctors will be accessible under one roof. The plan to add equipment that isn't available to patients in the area is still a work in progress.
There's only half of the building that has been constructed to date. We're looking at renting to having a diagnostic group come in and setting up some equipment that isn't in this area.
The new wellness center has created a flurry of development surrounding it. Plans for 3 new buildings have been brought forward by a developer and approved, with construction hopefully beginning sometime in October.
We have a drugstore that will be coming in, and they will be another building of approximately 15,000 will come in just north of the wellness center, and to the west of this drugstore will be another strip mall.
In St. Paul, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
The Terry Fox Run is making its way back to Lloydminster. It commemorates the young man who had an amputated leg and attempted to run across Canada. The national event will be celebrated here in the border city with a 6-kilometer run or walk from Bud Miller Park to the Service Sports Centre.
This event is for everyone in the community, whether you've had cancer or have friends who've had cancer. Share your experiences, come on down.
But organizers are still looking for help from the community.
Still need people for the water tables to handle water, refreshments. Still need some safety marshals for intersections. We've got about 2 busy intersections we need to get through for those that actually leave the park. And still need help with tear down and build up.
The walk gets underway this Sunday with registration at 10 a.m. For questions about volunteering, you can contact Ian McCormack at that number right there on your screen.